If you're just a JKR supporter, you won't like this video because I just am not. Hi everybody, so if you've been on TikTok any recently, you might have heard about the release of Alchemised. It has been kind of the new booktok book.
So, I finished part 1 of Alchemised.
I want us to do is be able to admit out loud, just as a book community, that Alchemised, The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy, and Rose in Chains are Harry Potter fanfiction. Could we just start there?
I finished her. Listen, 6 stars.
For the better part of the last year, these have been marketed as Harry Potter fanfiction by the publishers through Edelweiss Marketing, by the authors themselves through their Hermione summer social media posts, and every other book blogger and reader out there who has directly tied these two together.
Hermione in the big 2025 disappoints me immensely. Like, I don't even know where we can unpack this.
They are Harry Potter fanfiction when you want the massive built-in audience that comes with Harry Potter.
You're full of surprises.
L Sheet spends quite a bit of its space telling booksellers that this is a Hermione fanfiction.
Everyone is talking about Alchemised. I haven't seen a book release this big in I don't even think a Tabitha's by R.F. Kuang was this big.
There is no ethical consumption of Harry Potter fanfic.
One that I have a theory is gonna be on the levels of maybe even like ACOTAR and Fourth Wing. Possibly, at least in the more darker romance version of those things. This is basically a repackaged Harry Potter fanfic. I recently posted on TikTok about my very negative feelings I have about reskinned Harry Potter fanfics. Y'all, we have to let Harry Potter die. Okay? There's just no coming back from now, okay? It was written by the spawn of Satan. I'm sorry, baby. I'm sorry. And got a lot of really interesting commentary from people about their feelings on this topic. I'm just gonna be totally real with you. I'm really tired of these Harry Potter fanfics. I think we need to just let the Harry Potter franchise die at this point because I'm sorry, there's just no separating it from the spawn that created it, unfortunately. I don't know why we are making these books so popular. I don't know why big publishers are giving people who write these books millions of dollars, which is exactly what happened. We were just allowing that author to continue with this behavior. So what author am I discussing? J.K. Rowling. I don't care to go into all of the ins and outs of the horrible things JKR has done in the past few years. That's easily found online. Besides just the fact that her acting like a complete fool is the reason why we have to even be talking about this. If it even breathes anything close to JKR, I just want nothing to do with it. These types of conversations are absolutely not new. The last time I heard a big controversy about a Harry Potter fanfic is the release of The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy, which I see in my Books A Million all the time still, and it's still obviously selling. They're putting it at the front. It's a popular book still. And this is obviously, I think, even more visually a lot like Harry Potter with Draco and Hermione. And this book being another Hermione fanfic turned trad published book. And this is a phenomenon that we've seen increasingly often. We all know why. Let's just be real. If you just look at this book, does it really look any different than like any of these other contemporary romance books? You get what I mean? Would it sell if it wasn't associated with Harry Potter? Would the publisher even picked it up if it wasn't for the fact that at one time it was a Harry Potter fanfic? Would they pick it up if they didn't have that they could associate it with the likeness of Harry Potter? And that's where we get into the problem here of these publishers, who I find mostly at fault, desperately wanting to use any type of clout you can get from Harry Potter fans to sell these books. So they almost just become inherently associated with Harry Potter and Satan spawn author no matter what you do. Like, there's nothing, it doesn't even matter. Even if you take it and you completely change it, which they're doing to avoid legal issues, because we know Mrs. Spawn over here will sue. She's very litigious, historically known to be litigious. Yeah, the way they're getting around that is by changing it just enough, because that's not a new phenomenon, right? I got lots of comments on my TikTok saying, well, what about 50 Shades of Grey? All these Twilight fanfics, you're not mad at them? And I'm like, please name me the part where Stephanie Meyer has been on a tyrannical rampage against a minority group. Talking about two different things here. You really can't compare it. to other fanfics and stuff that turned into their own thing because, well, there's not a lot of authors that have done what JKR has done. So, like, those are just dumb comparisons. But honestly, it's really giving unoriginal. Truly. It's just like, at this point, it's been done so many times now. It's just like, why can't we just move on? Why are we continuing to make JKR relevant? By doing this and engaging in this community, particularly with trad publishers picking it up and putting it out in the world, in which they have done, you are inherently aligning yourself with Harry Potter and, by proxy, JKR. It's just what it is. I don't care. I'll fight Tumblr in the face over it. It is just what it is. Just like with 50 Shades, it still will always be, in some way, associated with Twilight. A lot of its character arcs and a lot of the vibes and everything were similar, in a way, to Twilight characters because that was the inspo behind it. These books will always be touted by that. That will always be carried in it. And I want nothing to do with it. And actually, not only do I want nothing to do with it, I'm just tired of it existing. Like, yeah, people can read what they want and do what you want, but you don't do that without consequences. And the consequences of this, making these books worth millions of dollars and incredibly popular, is that we keep Harry Potter alive and keep the pockets lined of people who hate minority groups. Like, are we willing to do that over a stupid ship? Oh, let's talk about how stupid this ship is, too. So, most of these, if not maybe even all of them, y'all tell me if there's ones that aren't, but most of them are the Hermione ship. That ship in general is absolutely insane. Absolutely nuts, okay? I don't even like Harry Potter that much, but of course I'm aware of it. I know I read it when I was younger, and you know, like a lot of people, I engaged with it when I was younger, of course. Hermione with Draco? You're kidding me, right? Like, you're kidding me. You hate women. You clearly hate women. Because why would you do that to her? Our girl Hermione is a smart, educated reader girl who is critical and challenges systems. You're going to put her with a Puritan? With low-key what was supposed to be a racist? A bully? This is the type of behavior that makes me freaking hate the enemies to lovers stuff even more than I already do. Granted, I'll admit my bias. Y'all know if you've watched my channel before, I do not like enemies to lovers. Oh my god. I do not like it. Okay. Like, oh my god, I hate enemies to lovers. So this may be why I feel like this is such a dumb setup, because I don't appreciate like bullies being all the whole bully / nerd setup. Like, I just think that's so weird, and the power, like, I'll never understand it. So I will argue, even some enemies to lovers in my comment sections were telling me, like, I like enemies to lovers, but this is drawing a whole nother line. You know, drawing a whole nother line. And I actually got a really good comment that I particularly wanted to point out that I agree with so heavily. And it's something I think we definitely should be observing. It's not lost on me how many Hermione shippers are white women who fantasize about Hermione forgiving and falling in love with the wizard Hitler Youth, who call her slurs, look down on her entire childhood. Oh, let's talk about that one. Okay. You will notice that a lot of people reading this book, promoting this book, making a big deal out of this book, arguing with people in the comments about this book, are a lot of white women. Now, granted, is BookTok and book online spaces a lot of white women? Sure. But obviously there's people of all races and there's definitely, with this whole fandom, a massive skew. And I think that's saying something. I think that is absolutely something you should notate. Do you want to align yourself with that type of mentality? Why is it that white people particularly like this book? Does it not concern you that a lot of these same white book talkers say they only read dialogue and
scored, and I just want to read action. I don't care what you did as a child.
How they skim through pages and that there's too many words on a page.
Why are the pages so filled with so many words? Like, what the
Have you maybe thought that picture books are more your speed?
Are the same ones promoting this book?
Listen, 6 stars, 1 note.
I'm sorry. Let's just be real. Those same book talkers that like never talk about politics, but as soon as a white man's pew-pewed, then all of a sudden they're a politician. They're the types that are promoting this book. You know what I mean? So it's just like, that association within itself would probably be enough motivation for me to never read these books. But even if you like enemies to lovers, like I've read enemies to lovers, but it was never to the point of like, oh, someone's like bully. Why? Like, why put those two together? It's so weird. It is so weird. And then the fact that trad publishers are picking this up and putting this out and giving these people who write these millions of dollars for this shit, and by proxy line in the pockets of a hateful bigot, is just so insane. All of this for this shit, it's a bad ship to begin with. Talk about how I think this whole like repackaging of older material or stuff that is done in the past is getting kind of freaking old. Okay, all these Disney remakes that has happened over the past like 10 years, right? Books are doing that a lot too. And yes, is it normal for art to be inspired by other art? There's nothing new under the sun, right? Yes. Is something always inspired by something else in a way? Yeah. At the same time, while that is true, does it have to be from a hateful bigot? Like, just because it's true that yes, there is nothing new and inspiration coming from other places and creating new things off of old things, it is something that's happened from, especially in the artistic spaces, or just kind of part of art. I mean, yeah, but it doesn't have to be from a hateful bigot. Like, as far as academic setting YA fantasies, there is just so many of them that are so much better. Like, we can popularize and create new YA academic fantasy books. We don't have to keep going back to Harry Potter. And that's how I feel about the Disney stuff too. It's like, just be original. Come up with something new. Be creative. Why are we backtracking it? I'm really, this whole regressiveness of society, it's not, we can maybe take inspiration from some of the themes, right? But as far as the character's likeness and stuff, like, we don't need to do that. We can make it better. We can do something new and creative. We can make it better. That's the amazing part, the amazing thing about innovation. Like, I think a great example of a book series that easily could replace anything that you desire from Harry Potter is the Legendborn series. I've talked about this so much on my page because not only is this an amazing YA fantasy book, but also it's very diverse. It's also academic setting. The magic system is fun and creative. The writing's fantastic, and it's North Carolina based. So yeah, I mean, it's just beautiful. And it's not like Legendborn is the only version of this that exists. There are so many YA fantasy books that are amazing. Why are we giving millions of dollars to those or things like this? Why are we giving it to reskin Harry Potter fanfics? It's just, do we want to move forward or are we trying to move backward? That's what I'm saying. Like, it's just, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the moving backward. I'm really over it. I'm really over it. I don't want to read any of this stuff. I'm not going to, unless maybe it be for a hate video, but otherwise I'm not planning to. Because also, let's talk about how it's just boring. It kind of makes me question, like, are you creative enough if you can't just come up with something on your own? And also, let's just talk about how probably a lot of these aren't that great. Because it's one thing when you are writing fan fiction just for fun, like in your bedroom or whatever, but obviously something to be traditionally published and put out in the world and given millions of dollars to produce, should be on kind of a different level. And most of the time, I find anytime I have read a lot of things that were once fan fictions, it just was really never giving. I'm just going to be totally real. Like, it just never really hit for me. I think it's a really cheap and actually really unethical way that a lot of these trad publishers are using Harry Potter to make a lot of money. Let's just be real. We know that's what it is. And I'm just over it. We can do better. We can be creative and fun. Like, we have to end the recycling. The recycling of these tropes, recycling of these characters, particularly considering, though, what this author has done and said. It's really, really just not great to just continue writing and promoting these books. It's really just not. Imagine if these booktokers that have like 500,000 followers would promote something like Legendborn. You get what I mean? Like, it's just like, instead of focusing on these Harry Potter remakes, if we promoted something that's actually like progressive and forward thinking, I just think, okay, like, and the thing is, we can do that. We can. As a reading community. Let's just be totally real too. I can't totally put 100% of the fault on trad publishers, because I know that in the end of the day, they're just putting out what they think will sell, and people are still buying this up like hotcakes. We as the consumer have the most power in the situation, which is we can just not buy these things. And that's the biggest part, right? If we stop buying this, tell these publishers that this is not good and we aren't going to be engaging in this, then maybe they'll start putting their efforts elsewhere. Your dollar is your vote. It just is what it is in our capitalistic society. I personally will be putting my money elsewhere. And I encourage you to as well, okay? Because not only is this shit bad, it's also supporting a really terrible author. I know I'm going to get comments in here trying to argue with me every breath about how this doesn't support JKR. This doesn't support JKR in any way. Oh, it's not that bad because X, Y, and Z. Save your breath. There is actually nothing you can say to me. There is nothing you can say to me to change my mind. Because the only way I'll read them is to hate read them to do a critical video. Similar to how I did for SJM. Nothing you'd ever do to convince me that by engaging with this, you're not also lining JKR's pockets. There's literally nothing you could say to me. So, save your breath. Consider maybe not buying these books because inherently they are and always will be associated with JKR. They're marketed as such. The marketing teams behind them are very quick to put up Harry Potter related things in order for it to sell. They are counting on that. And if we want to move on as a world from this lady, we gotta stop. We have to stop. It's just, we have to. So anyways, go read Legendborn, y'all. If you want some YA fantasy in your life, I am such a stan for this entire series. And yeah, don't buy these books.